Alright, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler, and welcome to a brand new review. And this time around we'll be checking out a film that was sent to me review by Full Moon, and you can pick this up on 4K at all your favorite online retailers. It is a film from 1984 titled Trancers. So this is the first 4K out of the Mr. Charlie Band camp. If you guys are fans of my time on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror podcast, you all know my opinion on Mr. Charlie Band and his way that he does his business, not only in the collector community but as a whole. He's a very interesting fella, and he's always one that always pushes new formats right away. So I'm quite surprised it took this long for Full Moon to come out with a 4K release, because throughout the years, you look at Full Moon, they're always the first ones to hop on the bandwagon of a new format. So this is the first release from Full Moon. They decided to do Trancers, not Puppet Master, which Puppet Master 3 is coming down the line in January. Hopefully I'll be able to review that one for you guys when it comes out. But Trancers is the first one from Mr. Charlie Band and Full Moon from the year 1984. And what can I say about Trancers? This is definitely the most well-made film that Charlie Band ever made. I mean, you watch this movie, it's well-directed, it's well-made, it's well-pieced together. It's a very well-made film. And now after seeing, quite a few of Mr. Charlie Band's movies, it's clear to say this is definitely his most well-directed film. I think I saw JP mention that as well when he talked about this on his Letterboxd. This is definitely Charlie Band's best made movie. You could tell that it had a bit of a budget, had a bit of a production value, had good acting, everything around it ultimately led to a pretty enjoyable film. I actually like this movie. It came out in 1984, a month after Terminator, so it's kind of hard to say this is a Terminator ripoff because of the fact that just this movie, of course, Full Moon pumps out movies so fast. They had a coronavirus zombie movie out a month after the pandemic happened. So it's not unlikely for Full Moon and Charlie Band to pump out a film really quickly. But this came out a month after Terminator, 1984. Of course, the world was different. There's no internet or anything like that. So it's kind of hard to say that this film is a Terminator ripoff. Now, if you watch it today, it's a mixture of a Terminator, Blade Runner, all the genres, all the famous sci-fi films mashed into one. So, it's pretty good. So we follow our main character, Jack Death. He lives in the future and 2247. And he's this trooper. He goes around and he kills these things called Trancers. Basically what they are, they're like zombie-like creatures that control people's brains and takes over their bodies, and they're zombie-like kind of creatures, I guess is the best way you could pronounce it. So he goes around, he's like a scanner cop, but not really a scanner cop. He goes around and he tries to terminate all the Trancers, and he gets summoned one day to the board. It's like a board that's run by it's like the presidential board of these three people who run the futuristic world that we're presented. And they tell Jack that one of their ancestors is being hunted by a trancer who went back in time. And unless he goes back and is able to save this ancestor, this trancer went back in time is going to take over the world and change the future, is all you know. And that's it. He basically goes back in time, meets Helen Hunt's character, falls in love, and it's basically him trying to adapt to 1980, I think it's 1984, 1985, I can't quite remember, 1985. So he goes back to 1985, what a popular lyric to go back to. So he goes back to 1985, and he tries to track down this trancer, and along the way he falls in love with Helen Hunt, trying to adapt to this old style of living, because of course in 2247 it's all futuristic and things like that. And that's basically it. Pretty simple narrative, not much to it. But like I said, it has strong performances, a pretty interesting character lineup, and it's well made. So I give Charlie Band credit. It's the first time I've seen this movie. I know he's made 5 sequels at this point of this, but this is the first time that I've seen any of them. It's been on my radar, but I do give Mr. Charlie Band credit. You know, he made a very decent movie. So let's talk about the 4K. So for the full moon films that I've seen that Charlie Band made himself, the jump from DVD to Blu-ray is quite impressive. The transfers on some of the Blu-ray films that he's released, especially the Puppet Master films, have looked really, really good, like insanely good compared to the DVD. You know, this comes with the Blu-ray, so I popped in the Blu-ray to do a comparison towards this and the 4K. The 4K does have Dolby Vision, HDR, all that stuff. It doesn't really say anywhere on the box that it has that, but once you pop it in, it pops up that it has HDR and all that. It's good, and it's a good image. It has heavy film grain, which some people like, but at some sequences it looks really, really good. At other sequences it looks not so good. So, you know, it's a hit and miss transfer. Like I said, it's better than the Blu-ray. I popped in the Blu-ray and you could definitely see the difference. It's definitely probably the best this movie's probably ever going to look. As I say that in all my 4K reviews, it's probably the best the movie's ever going to look. It's probably going to be the definitive edition of this movie if you like it. So it looks good. The audio as well, it has a, what's the audio track? It just has the 5.1 and the 2.0. It doesn't do any new Atmos tracks or anything like that. So it's just the typical 5.1, 2.0 soundtrack that you have on the Blu-ray. And on the feature-wise, nothing new. You got a commentary with Mr. Charlie Band and Tim Thomerson, who plays Jack Death, of course. Then you got like a short film about LA, the futuristic LA, and then you got like a video essay about the film, and then like a making of, all archive, old making of kind of video. So nothing new or anything like that. But still, it's very cool to see more companies get into the 4K game. Got nothing unusual here. Got your Blu-ray, and you got your 4K disc. The cover work is the same as you get on the slipcover. Nothing different there. So, I enjoy Trancers. You know, will I seek out the sequels? Yeah, maybe. I'm curious about the sequels after watching this, but it's cool to see Full Moon get into the 4K game. I'm curious to see what they release as the time goes on. Like I said, they got Puppet Master 3 coming out in January, so I'm excited to check that out because that is definitely the best Puppet Master film in that franchise. So that is my review of Trancers. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRuler22. Hope everybody's doing well, and I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.